What if I told you that one tiny bean, smaller than your fingernail, is quietly feeding billions of people every single day? It's hiding in your cooking oil. It's in your tofu. It's in your soy milk, your snacks, your salad dressing, and even the meat you eat, because the animals were fed it too. You've probably eaten soybeans today without even knowing it. This little seed is one of the most powerful crops on the entire planet. And yet, most people have no idea where it comes from, how it grows, or how it travels all the way from a muddy farm field to your dinner plate. Today, we're about to change that. We've broken this journey into 5 clear parts, so it's super easy to follow. First, we'll step onto the farm and see how soybeans are planted and grown. Second, we'll watch harvest time, when powerful machines roll in and collect the crop. Third, we'll go inside the factory and see how raw soybeans get cleaned and prepared. Fourth, we'll discover how they're turned into everyday foods you already love. And fifth, we'll trace how those finished products travel through the supply chain and land right on your table. This is the full farm-to-table story of soybeans. And trust me, it's more fascinating than you think. Let's get into it. Part 1. Soybean farming, planting and growing. Picture this. It's early spring. The air is still cool. A farmer stands at the edge of a massive field, looking out at miles of freshly turned soil. Today is planting day, and everything starts here. Before a single seed goes into the ground, farmers do a lot of preparation. They plow the soil, level it out, and make sure it's loose enough for seeds to settle in properly. This step matters more than most people realize. If the soil is too compact or uneven, seeds won't germinate well, and the whole season can suffer. When the soil temperature warms up enough, usually around late spring, planting begins. Modern farms use GPS-guided seed drills. Yes, you heard that right, GPS. These machines place soybean seeds in perfectly spaced rows, about 1 to 1.5 inches deep, with incredible precision. No guesswork, no wasted seeds, just clean, even rows stretching across the field as far as the eye can see. Within just a few days, something magical happens underground. The seeds begin to germinate. They push tiny roots downward and green shoots upward, breaking through the soil toward the sunlight. Soybean plants love warmth and full sun. They thrive best in temperatures between 20 degrees Celsius and 30 degrees Celsius. Too cold and they struggle. Too hot and they stress. That sweet spot is where the magic happens. Now, growing soybeans isn't just about planting and waiting. Farmers work hard every week to protect the crop. They monitor for weeds that compete for nutrients. They watch for pests that can destroy leaves and stems overnight. They test the soil and apply fertilizer only where it's truly needed, a practice called precision agriculture that saves money and protects the environment. Here's something genuinely cool about soybeans that most people don't know. They actually improve the soil as they grow. Tiny beneficial bacteria live in the roots of soybean plants, and these bacteria pull nitrogen directly from the air and convert it into natural fertilizer for the plant. It's called nitrogen fixation, and it means soybeans are literally feeding themselves and improving the field for future crops at the same time. That's not just farming, that's nature doing something remarkable. Weeks pass, the plants grow taller, small white or purple flowers appear, and then those flowers become pods. Each pod holds 2 to 4 beans tucked tightly inside. As summer stretches on, the farmer keeps a close eye on water levels, plant health, and growth stages. After 90 to 150 days, depending on the variety and climate, the plants begin to tell the farmer they're ready. The green leaves turn yellow and drop off. The pods shift from green to brown and begin to dry out. The field, once lush and alive, now looks golden and quiet. That quiet means one thing: harvest time is coming. Part 2. Harvesting the soybeans. There's a narrow window for harvesting soybeans, and farmers know they can't afford to miss it. Harvest too early, and the beans still hold too much moisture. They'll spoil in storage. Wait too long, and the dried pods crack open on their own, dropping beans onto the ground, a costly mistake after months of hard work. Timing in agriculture is everything. When the moment is right, usually late summer or early autumn, the combine harvesters roll in. These machines are enormous, they're loud, and they are incredibly efficient. As the combine moves through the field, a wide cutting header sweeps along close to the ground, slicing the soybean plants at the base. The plants are pulled into the machine's body, where a series of rotating drums and internal mechanisms go to work. They gently beat the pods open, separating the soybeans from the stems. Husks and other plant material, the leftover residue, the stalks and empty pods get spread back across the field, where it will break down and return nutrients to the soil. Nothing goes to waste. Meanwhile, inside the combine, clean soybeans are collecting in a large storage tank. When that tank fills up, the beans are transferred through long augers into grain carts or trucks waiting alongside the machine. The whole process is almost hypnotic to watch. Row after row, the combine moves through the field with quiet purpose, and behind it, the field looks clean and bare, the harvest done. From the field, loaded trucks carry the freshly harvested soybeans to storage facilities or directly to processing plants. But they're not ready for your kitchen yet, not even close. The next step, factory processing, is where things get really interesting. Part 3. Processing in factories. When soybeans arrive at the processing facility, they bring some unwanted guests along for the ride. Dust, small stones, broken stems, bits of field debris that got swept up during harvesting. The very first thing the factory does is clean all of that out. Powerful cleaning machines work in stages, using blasts of air to lift out lightweight debris, vibrating screens to sort by size, and even magnets to catch any metal fragments. By the end of this stage, only clean, high-quality soybeans move forward. Everything else is removed. Next comes drying and sorting. Even after harvest, soybeans can carry excess moisture, and moisture is the enemy of safe storage. Dryers reduce the moisture content to the right level, preventing mold and spoilage. Then the beans are sorted and graded by size and quality, making sure only the best continue through the process. Then comes a step called cracking and de-hulling. Machines gently crack open the soybeans and remove the tough outer shell, called the hull. This might sound simple, but it's a critical step. Removing the hull makes the next stages more efficient and helps produce higher quality end products. After de-hulling, the cracked soybean pieces pass through heavy rollers that press them into thin, flat flakes. This dramatically increases the surface area of the soybean, which makes the next step, oil extraction, far more effective. Inside large extraction units, the oil is pulled out of those flakes through one of two methods: mechanical pressing, which physically squeezes the oil out, or solvent extraction, which uses a safe chemical to draw the oil out and then removes the chemical afterward. Either way, the result is the same. The oil separates from the solid material. What you're left with is two valuable products. First, soybean oil, golden and rich, which will go on to be refined and used in cooking and food production. Second, soybean meal, a high-protein solid that becomes one of the most important ingredients in animal feed worldwide. The oil then goes through a final refining process, filtered, neutralized, bleached, and deodorized, until it's clean, light-colored, and mild in flavor. It's now ready to become the cooking oil in your kitchen, or an ingredient in the packaged food on your shelf. The raw soybean has been completely transformed. What comes next is where it becomes the food you actually eat. Part 4. Turning soybeans into food products. This is the part of the journey that most people never think about. But once you know it, you'll start noticing soybeans everywhere. Let's start with the most widely used product, soybean oil. After refining, this oil is bottled and sold directly to consumers, but it also flows into the production of thousands of packaged foods: salad dressings, baked goods, crackers, margarine, snack foods. If you flip over a food package and look at the ingredients, soybean oil is probably in there somewhere. Its mild flavor and high smoke point make it one of the most versatile and popular cooking oils in the world. But oil is just the beginning. Soybeans are also the starting point for a whole family of plant-based foods that have become global staples. Take soy milk. Soybeans are soaked in water overnight, then ground into a smooth paste, filtered to remove the solids, and heated. And what you get is soy milk. Creamy, protein-rich, and dairy-free. Millions of people drink it every day. From soy milk, manufacturers can go even further. Add a coagulant, a natural thickener, and you get tofu. Soft, silky blocks of protein that can be used in stir-fries, soups, salads, and hundreds of other dishes. Tofu has been a cornerstone of Asian cuisine for over 2,000 years, and today it's popular worldwide. Then there's tempeh, made by fermenting cooked soybeans with a special mold. The result is a firm, nutty, deeply flavorful food, packed with protein and probiotics. And of course, soy sauce, one of the most beloved condiments on earth, made by fermenting soybeans with wheat, salt, and water over weeks or even months, developing that rich, complex, salty, savory taste. And remember that soybean meal from the factory. It travels a different path, directly to farms where it's mixed into feed for chickens, cattle, pigs, and fish. Because of its high protein content, it helps animals grow faster and healthier. So when you eat a chicken breast, a pork chop, or a piece of farmed salmon, there's a very good chance that animal was raised on soybean meal. Soybeans don't just feed you directly, they feed the animals that feed you too. Part 5. From factories to your table, the products are made. Now they need to reach you. Food companies package everything carefully. Soybean oil in sealed bottles, soy milk in cartons, tofu in airtight containers, soy sauce in glass bottles, all designed to lock in freshness and protect quality during transport. From the processing facilities, these products move into a vast distribution network. Trucks carry them to warehouses. Ships transport them across oceans to different countries. Regional distributors send them to local wholesalers. And from there, they reach supermarkets, restaurants, food manufacturers, and street markets all around the world. Walk into any grocery store and look around. The cooking oil on the shelf likely contains soybeans. The snack in the bag, probably made with soybean oil. The meat in the refrigerated section, raised on soybean meal. The tofu, the soy sauce, the plant-based burgers, the baby formula. Soybeans, everywhere. Quietly, consistently, and at the same time, truckloads of soybean meal are arriving at farms, keeping livestock healthy and productive, supporting the dairy and meat industries that billions of people rely on every day. From a single seed pressed into warm spring soil, to the food on your plate tonight, that's the full journey of the soybean. Quiet, powerful, and absolutely essential. So next time you pour cooking oil into a pan, or pick up a block of tofu, or add soy sauce to your dish, you'll know the whole story behind it. A story that starts with a farmer, a field, and one tiny bean. If you found this video valuable, do us a favor, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and share this with someone who loves learning about where their food really comes from. We've got more incredible agriculture journeys coming your way, and you won't want to miss them.